You know, he has 13 out of 14 knockouts in his last fights, stopped everyone at welterweight. How do you also prepare for power that perhaps Terrence Crawford?
Man, who the fuck he fought, man? What you talking about, man? Who he fought? 13 or 14, who those guys? Okay, there we go. That's the next question.
So, let's talk about it. Are you concerned about Terrence Crawford's power?
Everybody can punch. Everybody can punch. Everybody can punch. Mm-hmm. Listen, it's easier to beat guys who are less. Like, that don't mean anything. I mean, like, you fighting those guys who can't. You know what I mean?
Obviously, Errol's resume is a lot better than Terrence.
So you mentioned the guy with the shaky resume. You say, oh yeah, obviously. Come on, man.
Well, I'm talking about Terrence's power because he has stopped everyone at welterweight, and he fought at 135.
After Errol broke those two, and what's the guy in Australia? Was he really a real fighter? He beat Pacquiao.
Joe Horn. Jeff Horn, yes.
And he fights. Then he beat a junior. And was it junior?
Yeah.
And, come on, man.
We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live, Boxingego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Who the fuck want what? Catch Bleak in South Beach out of the reach of the police. Who the has Terrence Crawford fought? These are the words of Derek James, the famed trainer of Errol Spence Jr. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Hey yo, I said, hey yo, Derek James just dropped a new interview, or a new interview featuring Derek James was just dropped. Now, this was from the press tour, evident by the background, but for some reason, this video just got uploaded. So I'm just now seeing it, and it looks to be an exclusive interview. Now, Derek James was being asked about Terrence Crawford, typical stuff at a Spence Crawford press tour. Now, the host or the reporter was asking Derek James, like, are you concerned, or do you guys have to be concerned about Terrence Crawford's power? No one man should have all this power, right? The reason being, Crawford's on a tear. Every welterweight fight he's had has been a knockout. Now, it was kind of funny because the host was, doing his spiel and setting up his question about power, and Derek James looked at him like, who is that? You guys heard at the beginning of the clip. He said, who is that? Like, who are you talking about? And he was like, Terrence Crawford, all knockouts. And he's like, man, come on, what you asking? What are you talking about? Terrence Crawford, who he fought? Who has he fought? And he reiterated that. So I thought that was interesting. Some people will find it surprising. Is Derek James and team Errol Spence undermining or underrating Terrence Bud Crawford's power? I want to give you guys my thoughts, ego thoughts. Now, knowing what I know about Derek James and company and Errol Spence, I highly doubt that they are taking Terrence Crawford lightly. They're both consummate professionals. Many people for the last several years have viewed Derek James as a trainer of the year, including me. I mean, his stable is one belt away from having 2 undisputed champions. I don't know that that's ever been done where one trainer simultaneously has had 2 undisputed fighters. Of course, Errol Spence must get past Terrence Crawford in his fight July 29th, but that's a hell of an opportunity to have a stable with 2 undisputed champions. And it's only one click away, one fight, one strong performance, one potentially 36-minute bout away. In a championship boxing fight, there's 12 rounds, and that equates to 36 minutes unless somebody gets knocked out earlier. It's even less time. So you can make a whole lot of money and do a whole lot of things in less than an hour, 36 minutes to be exact. Do I think Errol Spence and Derek James are taking Terrence Crawford lightly or sleeping on him or underestimating him? Absolutely not. again, from what I've seen, they're professionals at the very least. They're training, and you have to, when there's a fighter who has maybe an aura like a Mike Tyson or the guy who has all knockouts at welterweight, such as Crawford, these types of things, you have to train for the best variation or the best version of them. You can't go in really expecting the worst version of them to show up. So I don't think that would be something even considered by Team Spence. So as been the case for all of Errol Spence fights, I think they'll pull out all the stops and really put together a good training camp. Plus, again, the implications are bigger in this fight than many other fights due to its nature of being undisputed. As far as Terrence Crawford's resume, listen, I'm the greatest in this boxing game, the best in the business, and it's not even close. I keep telling you the same things. People get up in arms and allegedly mad and all this type of stuff. I don't really care. I'm here to do a job. I do my job to the best of my ability, which is pure excellence. And I get in and get out. I hit record. You're either going to love the content, hate the content. To me, it doesn't matter either way. I'm going to still have my thoughts and be honest and transparent on my channel that I've created from the ground up. So it is what it is. Crawford is a great fighter. He has skills, but particularly in the career-wise, but particularly in the welterweight division, his resume truly is lacking. And I've said that. And some people, oh, you just hate Crawford and all that. Listen, you can say whatever you want about me. I don't really care. I don't know you, don't care, and it's not going to change anything. I've given Crawford props for what I think he deserves props for. Moving up in weight class, being a skilled fighter, always being disciplined and professional, making weight. I'm not going to give him credit for what you want me to give him credit for because it tickles your fancy. You got the wrong one. You got the wrong channel. Again, his resume is lacking. This is not a, like, I hate him. I'm not saying he's a bad father or a bad family man or a bad husband. I'm not talking about him personally. I'm telling you, I feel when he fought who he fought at welterweight, they weren't considered the best in the division or even top 6. None of them. You know, even Jeff Horn, I mean, I guess you had to inadvertently give him credit, but I thought he lost to Pacquiao. So that's always going to hold true to me because they never rematched or anything. And I thought Pacquiao got screwed in that ordeal. But all in all, his resume is just lacking. He fought Amir Khan literally 2 fights after Canelo had obliterated Amir Khan and turned him into dust, right? Amir Khan, if you look at after the Canelo knockout, so barring the fact that he got knocked out by Danny Garcia in 3-4 rounds and been knocked out by Bradis Prescott and Julio Diaz hurt him and all these other guys hurt him, Chris Algieri included, despite all of that, the Canelo knockout, because he was a bigger fighter and a skilled fighter, was probably the most vicious, right? He was asleep with his eyes open, right? Amir Khan took a long time off. I think he had like some hip surgery or some type of surgery. And then he came back and fought a 40-second fight with a retired YouTube chef / boxer, Phil LaGreco, who Errol Spence had beaten years prior. And I'm not counting no 40-second fight unless you Wilder or something. When you fighting somebody who's like semi-retired and a YouTube chef and you only go 40 seconds, that's not really a fight. Like, they didn't give you anything to think about. The fight was over so quick. You didn't get scratched. You didn't get, you know what I'm saying? There's not a scratch on you. So I don't really even include that. So in my view, Amir Khan was really kind of like one fight removed in a long layoff from, in that fight, the one fight I'm talking about after the Phil LaGreco 40-second fight was against Samuel Vargas, who's really not the top guy. And Samuel Vargas nearly stopped Amir Khan twice in that fight. Not once, but twice in that fight, right? Amir Khan got dropped. He was badly hurt, running around, all types of stuff like that. See, the one thing people could say about, they could say, oh, you hate Crawford and all that stuff, but I promise you, they're not going to prove me wrong because everything I'm saying is facts. When you're not lying, then you don't have to hide anything. When you're being truthful, I'm not telling you my truth. I'm telling you the truth. Amir Khan, his fight right before Terrence Crawford was Samuel Vargas. If you've never seen it, it was on DAZN and he was badly hurt. This is the condition that Crawford has fought many of the opponents, where there's always this asterisk by the win, or, you know, just things that you would interpret as like, this is not a prime guy you're fighting. And Derek James was right, because boxing media, they get in front of these media scrums and they try to play dumb. Like, people keep talking about, oh, but he knocked out everybody at welterweight. I mean, he's skilled, he's a switch hitter, and he has power. And on top of that, he's not fighting in prime guys, which is basically the point that Derek James was making. It's easier to do that when you're not being tested. Like, if you fight an undefeated fighter who's actually good, like not Jeff Horn. Jeff Horn had like 15, 16 fights, and I don't think he's that good. Look at his career. Like, he didn't really do anything. And he lost to Pacquiao for real, right? But an undefeated fighter like Mikey Garcia has actual skills. He had sparred with Edwin Valero. He had sparred with Manny Pacquiao at a young age when he was like a teenager. These are like prime punchers. So that being said, I get it. Sparring is sparring. It's not a pro fight, but it's experience. And when you have experience, I've interviewed Mikey Garcia and he was telling me about the Edwin Valero fights, right? And he was like, you know, the man got like maniacal cracks. But the point I'm making is that's experience. So guys like that, and he had great experience as a pro. Sergey Lipinets, who's still relevant. He fought Broner. He fought against Robert Easter in the unification, etc. He moved up in weight like Crawford, right? So for Errol to one-sidedly shut out Mikey Garcia, who was undefeated, he wasn't tiny. Like, you look at Mikey Garcia in his offseason, he's not this like small, frail guy. You could tell he's ballooning up in weight. He just chooses to campaign at 35 or 40 and make a sacrificing cut. But at the end of the day, I'm going to give more credit for, even though Mikey didn't have a belt, I give Errol more credit for beating an undefeated Mikey Garcia than I do for Crawford beating an undefeated Jeff Horn. Because again, Mikey was really undefeated. Jeff Horn, to me, wasn't undefeated because that man from General Santos, I want to accept my promoter at Jeffrey. He's going to bite me. Manny Pacquiao should have beat him. Boom. So again, the Bud Buddies, they're going to say all these things. Oh, you're just hating and all that. But I promise you, mark my words, I'm Ego Stradamus. I see the future before it happens. They're going to say all these things and you're hating and all that, but they won't prove me wrong by telling you what great fights and where those guys were at the point in which Crawford fought them. Like Mean Machine, he was coming off of a controversial draw with Ray Robinson that he should have lost that fight. So Top Rank is extremely good about this with their matchmaking. They do these little things, and you know, you might see a name and you're looking at the name and you're like, oh yeah, this is a great fight, Amir Khan and Crawford. But there's variables, and if you don't consider those variables, then you're going to be led astray. Like, where was Amir Khan when Crawford fought him on pay-per-view? He was, again, 1-2 fights removed from the Canelo devastating knockout. Where was Mean Machine? He was the mandatory, but he shouldn't have been a mandatory. Ray Robinson, who beat Crawford in the amateurs, should have been Crawford's mandatory because Ray Robinson should have won that fight. Again, there's a lot of people that want to prove me wrong and say I don't know anything about boxing, but I'm telling you about boxing and I'm telling you the history of it, and you can't prove me wrong. So what does that say? So Derek James, I understood why he reacted like he did. Everyone keeps glorifying the fact that Crawford has all knockouts. That's cool. But if Errol Spence had a cakewalk schedule of guys who were considered wash, I mean, there's a strong chance that he knocks those guys out, or even a Jaron Ennis or Virgil Ortiz. Like, can Amir Khan, at the point, the version that Terrence Crawford fought on pay-per-view, could that Amir Khan beat Virgil Ortiz? I think no. Could he beat Jaron Ennis? I think no. Could he beat Errol Spence or Keith Thurman? I think no. We already know he couldn't beat Danny Garcia because he fought him more in his prime and got knocked out. So that's why people are saying these things about Crawford's resume. His team, his fans, they could be delusional about it, or they can wait till July 29th and actually try to beat Errol Spence. And if you do, then that's a credible win where nobody will have anything negative to say if it's fair and square, period. But you can't get mad at people questioning Terrence Crawford's resume when it's light. Look at Teofimo. Does Teofimo have a better resume at 35 and 40 than Terrence Crawford? I mean, really ask yourself these things that I'm asking you. Because I think, yes. I mean, Teofimo fought Lomachenko and Josh Taylor. The names that were present for Teofimo are better and more regarded names than the guys when Crawford was at 35 and 40, right? Crawford was fighting, Felix Diaz. He was fighting guys like John Molina Jr., Ray Beltran. He was fighting Victor Postal, was a credible name. I'll give him that. But really, even Postal, his claim to fame was beating Lucas Matisse after Danny Garcia had beat, you guessed it, Lucas Matisse. We don't know that Lucas Matisse was even the same because that was on the Mayweather-Canelo card and Lucas Matisse got destroyed and his eye looked all like watery and like filled with fluid and liquid. And then Victor Postal kind of made Matisse quit after that. But Danny Garcia, who Errol Spence beat, he's the one that beat Matisse when Matisse was mowing guys down, like my dude Mike Dallas got knocked out by him, or guys like Lamont Peterson, guys, because at the point when Danny fought him, he had losses. But again, you got to know boxing to compete and contend with what I'm saying. His losses were like Devin Alexander, Zab Judah, and many people think he shouldn't have lost those fights. So really, he could have been considered, when Danny fought him, an undefeated fighter. But again, Roger Mayweather voice, most don't know ish about boxing. They showing don't. So if you don't know boxing, you're just going to say, oh, you're hating on Crawford. His resume is great. You're just a hater. But the reality is everything I'm saying is true. You just got to know boxing to know that. Crawford's resume in its history. I mean, listen, Crawford keeps telling you his greatest fights. And he's saying things like Ricky Burns. Like, your greatest fight is Ricky Burns? He's saying his toughest fights were Gamboa and Mean Machine. That's your toughest fight? Imagine Floyd Mayweather saying his toughest fight ever was Sharmba Mitchell, or like, you know what I'm saying, one of Philip Nadal, or, one of the names that weren't the biggest names that he fought. Like, even a fight like, I can understand Floyd saying Emmanuel Augustus is a tough fight. That man was talented, drunken monkey style. He had an awkward style, but I don't know. Crawford's saying Mean Machine. Virgil Ortiz, I mean, he did get hurt. Virgil Ortiz got hurt by Mean Machine, but at the end of the day, like, he's 20-something years old. He doesn't have the experience of Crawford. Crawford is 10 years older, roughly 10 years older than Virgil Ortiz, and his resume is not levels above it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's fighting guys that you should be fighting if you're Jaron Ennis or if you're Virgil Ortiz, like sub 26, 25, in that range. That's the guys you should probably be fighting at that age to build up and things like that. So, I mean, I understand, Derek James. We unpack. Introducing Super Thanks. Right here on the official Boxingego YouTube. Super Thanks allows you, the viewers, to show a little bit of extra gratitude, which enables me as a full-time content creator to push out the content you need in the world of boxing. Underneath all the videos, you will see a heart with the $sign in it. You can enter any amount that you find suitable as a super thanks. A brand new interactive and colorful way to get your comments highlighted and noticed by not only myself, but other people on the YouTube platform. Super thanks, a unique and cool way to show and applaud us full-time content creators. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content. Super thanks. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. welcome to the nation. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We working.